Yo, yo, yo. What's up, chat? What it do? Happy Thursday, guys. More Divinity today. Day 18 of Divinity, yeah. Is that where we're at? Dude, I think that's where we're at. I should know, but, let's confirm this. Oh, man. Yeah, Divinity Day 18. Goodness gracious, I'm getting lost in it, man. But we're having fun, man. We're having fun. We got to basically slaughter an entire evil village yesterday. That was cool. Got a lot of loot, and that makes it even better. So, we had a lot of fun yesterday. We'll keep going. We'll keep pushing. Good times, good times. So Divinity Day 18, and we've got video gaming news for today, the 13th of April. So we'll get into the whole Redfall discussion for sure. We had our buddy Tinwin drop some news on us yesterday regarding no co-op progression aside from host, and 30 frame cap on the game on launch, basically. So yeah, 30 frame per second cap on the game on launch. We talked about it yesterday. I put a short clip out on YouTube yesterday, kind of our reaction to that news, which wasn't good. Most of the gaming world is not thrilled about that. If developers have not caught on by this point, those kinds of things are not well received by us. Capping a game at 30 frames per second, an action game, whether it be an action fighting game or a an FPS or anything like that, the more frames you can get absolutely outweighs the more quality you get out of the graphical experience. Like 120 frames at HD on release is going to be preferable by most of the gamers out there for high action paced games, to get a really buttery smooth experience, as opposed to like a 30 frame cap on a like 1440p or 4K, something like that, and so we'll talk about it though. We'll talk about it again this morning. Yeah. No, I haven't heard about it, Ferret. We can talk about that too, man. Fill me in. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Good morning. Let's go ahead and dive in here, guys. It's good to see you. Good morning. I hope your Thursday's going well. That weekend's almost here, baby. You keep on grinding. You know what I mean? It'll be here before you know it. Let's go ahead and dive into the news. Before we do that, take a look. This is what we're listening to this morning. Crypto the Necro Dancer. This is a rhythm-based adventure RPG game. It's I haven't played it personally, but I love the soundtrack. I do want to play this game sometime very soon, but it is renowned for being a great rhythm-based game. So if you're into that genre of game, I highly recommend checking it out. Reviews are stellar across the board for this, and that's a pretty good indicator that the game is been well received and loved, and so go give it a shot, and check out the soundtrack too. Soundtrack's pretty cool stuff, man. It's extensive, and you get a lot. Even aside from this, you get like a bunch of remixes and synthwave stuff, chopped up mixes and stuff like that. So go check it out. All right. Cut it there. Let's get into the news, baby. Yeah, fill me in, Ferret. What's going on, dude? What's going on with the Destiny 2 stuff, man? April's PS Plus Extra and Premium games include Doom Eternal and Kina. Take a look at that. This is a Redfall stuff that we found out about yesterday, so we'll hit on that first thing this morning, okay? No way, dude. Really? Wild. Wild. Yeah, that's crazy, man. No, I hadn't heard about that. That's interesting. Oh, you got it, huh? Yo, take a look at this. Take a look at this. Okay. So about a month ago, huh? Yeah, I didn't even see this in any of our news stuff. Interesting. Yeah, let's take a peek, dude. Huh. Damage output between 30 and 60 frames per second. What about anything over that? Oh, yeah, they talk about that too. Okay, good. That's what I was wondering. Cool. Hey, thanks, buddy. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, well, let's take a look. I wonder if they've gotten that fixed up at this point. I don't know. Hopefully they've got this article updated. We'll see. See if there's any update to it or anything. It doesn't look like it. Interesting. That's about a month ago. So we'll see. We'll see. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. How you doing this morning, man? Yeah, we got that up already. Sony appears to have stopped email receipts for PlayStation Plus games. Huh. I understand that very much. Yeah, I'm all right, man. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I watched the Tetris movie. On Apple TV, and it was okay. For me personally, it wasn't. And if you didn't know, I mean, this is a movie about like how Tetris came about. I mean, it's interesting, but the movie itself, it was interesting. I didn't know that like, and I don't know how much of the story has been altered for you know dramatic effect or anything like that. But um, you know, if the gist of what was done in the show is true, then it's interesting. It's an interesting story, but it wasn't like a mind blowing kind of experience to watch or anything. It wasn't incredible. It was decent. It was decent. What's up, Kayla? How you doing? Happy Thursday, friendo. What's going on? All right, let's see what else we got, man. Hey, yo. Well, here's something I want to talk about today. There's a game that just came out. That's doing pretty well. Do you guys know what War Tales is? Yeah. It's not a documentary. It's like a it's like a docu movie. So it's not like a true documentary. No. Um, yeah. So it's all acted and everything. It's not like a what do you even call that? What do they call those? I'm flipping tripping right now, dude. Um, so true documentary is more like having somebody narrate and dive into all of the facts that surrounded it. This is more of a take on what the it's supposed to be a true take on what happened surrounding the game, right? Uh, so well, I'll just pull it up. What do they call it? What are they referring to this as? Uh, because it's all acted out and everything. It's not like a true documentary. Um, yeah, it explores the true story behind the '80s legal battle that led to the classic video game becoming an international phenomenon. So it's not like a true documentary like you would see Um, okay, so biographical thriller film is what they're it's being called on Wikipedia. Okay, so not like a documentary necessarily, but a biographical kind of take on what this story held, because it's all true, like real actors and stuff. It's not it's an actual production kind of thing going on here. And I mean, it got okay ratings and stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like it was bad. Yeah. So I mean, if you're in the mood for something to watch, then I'd say it's definitely worth a watch just to know what went on behind that game. It's pretty interesting. There's some wild crap that happened behind getting that game published and everything. It was really really wild. Um, Me still killing you, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, it sucks, Kayla. Yeah, yeah, it sucks. Injuries are brutal, man. Injuries are brutal. The knee stuff is terrible too. My dad's had 3 knee replacements. Everybody's gonna be like, "Wait, but you only have 2 of those." The first knee replacement my dad had was a botched one. They didn't do a good job on it, and it didn't last very long, and they had to replace it again. And if you know anybody that's ever had a knee replacement, dude, they are not fun recoveries. Not fun. Those aren't needed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Well played, Ferret. So, yeah, my dad played football for a long time. Played all the way through college and stuff, and so his knees were already pretty jacked. And then he ended up getting into a career where he a lot walked a lot, man. And I'm talking like didn't matter what the weather was or anything. He had to be out in it and do a lot of walking and things like that. And eventually, man, it just took its toll, and he had to have both of his knees replaced. And so I know the issues that can take on somebody, man, the knee stuff. So yeah, Ferret. Yep. There you go. About 15 miles a day. About 15 miles a day was his thing, and he had like little to no curbside, so it was all a walking route. Yeah. So um, until right towards the end of his career, they finally started getting a little bit put in. But where we're from, it was like the longest route, and it was about 15 to 17 miles a day, I think is what it was, that he would have to walk. And it was like, didn't matter what the weather was, man. So he'd be out in this, like, if it got real bad and icy, he'd be out falling all over people's flipping porches and stuff like that, and busting his knees up and stuff. So he ended up having to have both of his replaced, one of them twice. So the knee stuff, I know, Kayla, is terrible. I know it sucks so bad. The knee injuries are no good. I mean, no injury is good, but they're a terrible thing. So I hope you start figuring out a way to get it healed up and rested and stuff. It's terrible. Yeah, yeah. You nailed it, Ferret. You nailed it, man. Yeah. Do they not have any kind of like step stool or anything that might be able to provide you a little bit of relief when you have to get up and look at the top of the shelves or anything? Because that would be really cool of them to help out an injured employee with. that kind of thing, you know. Spellcraft needed a new gaming genre, but oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. Have you guys seen this? Have you seen War Tales? This game is killing it right now, it seems. Well, it had been on my wish list before it dropped. But check this out. It's doing pretty good right now. It just hit yesterday. Now, I think it might have been an earlier release before this. But or early access or something. I'm not sure. But dude, there's 9,500 reviews already for this game. When did some of these? Yeah, some of these reviews have been out since like December. So it'd been out in early access for a while too. But people are enjoying this game, man. It's pretty wild. And here's one of the things that haven't seen it. So this is one of the things that's kind of intriguing for me about it. This game is 4-player co-op CRPG style game. Look at this. Where do they tout that at? 4-player co-op, dude. Check this out. 4-player co-op. Traverse the vast open world of War Tales as a band of up to 4 players, planning tactics and devising a strategy before confronting some of the many hostile inhabitants that roam these mysterious lands and defeating them as a team. Share money, loot resources, and end the day with a delicious meal around a roaring campfire with your loyal companions, building camaraderie and forging unbreakable bonds that will help you overcome any obstacle. Yeah, 4-player co-op, dude. Now, I'm hoping what this is 4-player like online co-op, right? Where you can set up these campaigns and play together. Because that would be absolutely insane. So look at this trailer real quick. This is their that's a lot of cinematics here. Check this one out. I think this one will be better. So it is now full release. It's 1.0 right now. So it's not early access anymore. It's 1.0. What I kind of looked at last night was, so it's 90% positive of 9,500 reviews. And recent is 91% of over 500, right? So some of what I've seen is a lot of people are saying this game is good. It still has some issues, but the developers are continuing to work and implement changes that are good, and that the ceiling for this game is very high. So while some people are saying that maybe the game is only maybe like roughly a 7 out of 10 right now, the potential for the game is like way up there. They just need more development time. They need more stuff. They need to really get in there a little bit further with it. You know what I mean? But it looks very cool, man. The premise behind it looks really neat. It looks like something myself and I know other people in this community would be having some fun playing together. So I'm interested in this. Pretty interested in this. Looks like it could be some fun, man. We'll have to see what happens. War Tales. War Tales. Um, Spellcraft created a new gaming genre, but at what cost? See what this is? Sony's new what? Smartphone games team? We'll take a look at that. Valve was about to slash the file size of the Steam Decks. Solid state hogging shader cache in half. Huh. Interesting. Okay. That could be a big deal. Video games need video game journalism. I'll take it a step further. Video games need good video game journalism. Okay? And I'll take it even a step further than that. The world needs good journalism. All right. There's a difference between just journalism, which quite often is um, a lot of regurgitating of bad fact, and even to the point of there are a lot of these big companies that own a ton of these news outlets and stuff, and the people that work for these companies basically are just a bunch of puppets that are told what they can and cannot say, or what they can and cannot write, and so they do it. They don't care about the ramifications of misinformation and the propaganda spread and stuff like that. It's pretty disgusting. So what the world needs, and you know what we deal with every day here in this channel, is relying on looking into what journalists are bringing to the table for us as far as reporting on what's going on in the video gaming industry. So I am very, very, very thankful for the journalists. And dude, every time I read a really well-written article, I try to go find the name of the individual that wrote that article and try to give them some props for it, because I appreciate that. I don't think there are a lot of really good writers in the world anymore. I'm not one. That's why I don't do it. I'm not a great writer. I have a sibling that's a fantastic writer. Blogs all the time, stuff like that. Very good at just a wordsmith, if you will. That's not me, man. That's why I don't do it. But, there's a difference between just being a journalist and being a good journalist. And we need more good journalists. And that's, again, why I always try to point out good authors of good articles that we find in our video gaming news segments, because I appreciate it so very much. So, to all you good journalists out there doing the work, man, we appreciate it. D4 borrows from MMOs, but it is still about what, overpowered builds and blowing up screens of monsters. Yeah, okay. There's no need in reading into that, really. What is this? Oh yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong, Ferret. You bring up a great point, man. There. Um, and look, man. I mean, even you know, I would say that falls right in line with kind of what I'm talking about with even here in the U.S. Even here in the U.S., which is where I am at, and it, even though there's the freedom of speech and everything, there are a lot of people that are at the mercy of these large propaganda driven companies that they're at the will of the the agendas to which these companies are trying to push, and if they go against that, they lose their jobs, and it's not an easy decision to make. Yeah, so I'm not so whether it be living in a country in which if you say the wrong thing can mean catastrophic things for you and your family on a level of fearing for your life, or to the point of like even in this country where quite often it'll just be meaning loss of job and being able to support yourself because you went against what the company wanted you, because it's not about reporting facts anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. It's about making sure the people that work for you are reporting what you want them to report on. It's not about spreading true news or anything like that, right? So um, it's pretty gross. It's unfortunate. And I say this all the time, whether you're whatever you're trying to find out news wise, find some independent news sources. Exactly, lose their jobs, get threatened, ostracized, blacklisted. Yeah, it's. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's unfortunate. It's terrible, and I whenever I speak to people about the news, I always try to prompt people to look into, if you're able to, get your information, get your news from independent news sources. There are still some great independent news sources out there. I think Reuters is still one of them. But if you're going out there and you're getting your news from places like Fox, I'm sorry, man, but all almost I would say probably 95% or even more of that stuff that's getting reported out of that agency is being contorted in some form or fashion to fit their agenda, to get people to believe what they want you to believe, to get the audience to believe what they want you to believe. They're not reporting tried and true facts of just everything that is happening in the world. They're contorting things, man, to get people to believe, and that's just one example. They're not the only ones, but Fox is notoriously bad. There's tons of other ones too, but find independent news sources, people that don't have a reason to put an agenda out there. You know what I mean? Um, exactly. Fox, CNN, CBC, any of the big ones, dude. Right. But if you can find some independent news sources, that's where in my opinion, you should be getting your information from. Quite often, those are the more reliable sources for not having to worry about any kind of agenda or propaganda being thrown in, facts being contorted, and misinformation being spewed. It's a better way to go about trying to get your information. Um, what is this? Yeah, fair. Yeah, I mean that's another thing I try to prompt people for all the time too. Like, just because you see one article from one news outlet, um, don't take that for fact. You should always be trying to, instead of taking something at face value all the time and then going and like regurgitating it, because there's a huge possibility that it is misinformation. There are some things I even tell people, the things that I talk about here in our channel. There is the possibility that some of the things that I state I could misremember things or whatever. I'm not trying to misinform people or anything like that, but it's just a fact of the matter that it could happen. So whether it be here or anywhere else you get your information from, you should try to bump up that information against some other. Try to research it, right? Research it and educate yourself, and make sure that the facts are true before you go and regurgitate them anywhere else and potentially spread misinformation, right? That is a very, very important thing nowadays because there's just too much of it that happens, right? Cross-reference. There you go, dude. You just have to be careful nowadays too, because there's so many of these big companies that own so many of these news outlets too, that they're getting them to report on the same exact thing, right? You got to make sure you're finding some really, really good, reliable sources for information that are not part of that propaganda machine. So you're not going from like one of those sources that's owned by the same company to another source that's owned by that same company, because they're going to be reporting the same exact thing. Oh, dude, social media is terrible. That's why I don't deal with it, dude. I don't do the social media thing. It's gross, man. It's just disgusting. And it's such a time waste too. People waste, in my opinion, people waste so much time on social media, dude. And a lot of people go, "What you do? You play video games all day?" I'd rather waste my time playing video games. If people think that my time is being wasted playing video games, not 100%. You have Twitter. I have Twitter, but there's a difference between my Twitter. I know you're trolling me right now. I have Twitter for pushing out channel updates. That is literally the only thing I use it for. Every once in a while, I might like retweet something in the gaming industry or something like that, but that's about all I use it for. You know, if there's an adjustment to the schedule or something, that's it. Yeah, yeah. So you're not wrong. I do have it, but there's a difference between utilizing it to push information out to the people that want to be part of our community, as far as like schedule changes. Look, I say this about technology all the time, though. Technology and the implementations of it, and there are ways to use it for good, and there are ways to use it for bad, dude. And it's always been that way, right? It's always been that way. You're getting me off track, ferret, bro. Look, this is a ferret loves doing this to me too. Check it out. I'll show you exactly what happens here. I'll show you exactly what happens. This is this is the this, this is what ferret does. He loves it. You get me ranting, dude. See, this is this is the epitome of what happened. And now I'm ranting. Thanks, ferret. And then he puts this, and then this is me. Like, this is from the Discord, but this is literally the way this goes all the time, It's like there's not a better way to show the way this relationship works between us and the news segment, Oh, come on, man. All right, get your random oats in there, guys. Pizza Hut gaming me? What is this? So they're like putting on, they're like sponsoring tournaments and collaborating with like peripherals and stuff like that. It looks like they're going to continue that. So I'm not going to dive into that. That's crazy. I didn't know Pizza Hut was into that. Oh, it's okay. I mean, look, man, I enjoy having I like engaging with people, right? And so it's I'd rather engage with you guys and have some fun and laugh and maybe get me ranting every once in a while. But even though I rant, usually when I rant, it's because I'm passionate about whatever you guys are getting me on a tangent about, you know. So and it's usually about gaming stuff, so it's fine. I don't care. It's all right. I like the gaming. The reason we started these video gaming news segments is because I'm passionate about the industry and stuff, and that's why that's why I do it, and I enjoy having the interaction with you guys and the conversations and everything. So I'm not worried about them going long from time to time. Yeah, fans are already revolting against AI that make their games cheap and soulless, dude. Engaged me, bro. We've been engaged forever. Kookade? What is Kookade? Oh yeah. Oh no. What is this, dude? I've seen this before, dog. I saw this. Yeah, dude, I saw this on Imager the other day. Yo, look at this. I saw this on Imager the other day. Torture me all you want, Bowser, but you will never break my spirit. We'll see about that, Mario. Junior, bring out the pineapple slices. Look at this, dog. Yeah, dude. Yo, I love pineapple pizza, man. Put some spice on there too, though. You know what I'm saying? I need that savory with the sweet, but I need spicy in there too. Put some jalapenos on there. Give me that pepperoni's fine, but I like the salty. Give me some ham. Put some like ham or some Canadian bacon. Bacon. I actually like bacon. Bacon. Real bacon's my favorite. Bacon with pineapple, dude. Bacon with pineapple and jalapenos, dude. Oh, killer, man. So good. Bacon on pizza, dude. Me too. Me too. Fair. That's one of my favorite toppings, man. And I love Italian sausage a lot too. You know, basically all the meats, man. All the meats. Did you see today's news? I mean, I'm looking at news. So this is yeah, we'll take a look at this AI stuff. Yeah, I mean, dude, we've talked a lot about the AI stuff. A legend was born today. Really, Italian sausage makes you sick, dude? Oh, bro. Wow, I love it, man. That's crazy. What's it do to you, man? Is it the fennel seed in it or something? What is it? A legend was born. What are you talking about, Wick? What are you baiting me into, dog? What is this? What are you baiting me? Yo, what happened to the penguins, bro? Oh no way, dude. Oh god, I love breakfast sausage too, bro. I've talked about this before, but there's a chain of like convenience stores out here that make they've got like these entire sections set up to make pizzas, and they make breakfast pizzas, dude, and they're insane. You'll bait me later. Beef kielbasa is fine. Oh, okay. They make these breakfast pizzas, dude, with like it's like a egg and cheese and like bacon and breakfast sausage and stuff. Oh, dude, they are so dangerous. They're so flipping good. Oh my god, they're so dangerous, bro. I'll put on like 50. I'll just eat those one after another. Like a whole pizza. I like turn into a Ninja Turtle with those, dude. It's insane. What are you talking about? Legend was. It's your birthday? Oh, it's Wick's birthday, bro. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let's go, dude. All right. All right, dude. Emote only. Let's go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get him hooked up with them birthday wishes, dude. Uh-huh. Let's get it. I'm getting some emotes in here for you, dog. There we go. All right, man. Happy birthday, dude. Insane. Oh, nice, man. Who let Ferret talk? Oh, man. Well, you got here too late, you know? Ferret's always here before you, mod. You know what I mean? I'm just going to have to make Ferret a mod, too. That way you guys can have mod wars. Happy birthday, bro. What are you doing? Are you doing anything? They do now, dude. Are you doing anything for your birthday, man? Wait, what? PS Plus access Marvel Spider-Man? Oh, it's getting dropped in May. Okay, take a look at that. Amnesia the Bunker delayed again. Oh, dude, here we go. Does 60 frames per second really matter in most games? Hold on. Yeah, 60 frames matters, dude. That wasn't real fair. Dude, so this is going to go hand in hand with what we found out yesterday about Redfall. Yeah, if you didn't see my take, man, I put it on YouTube yesterday. Here, I'll just link it for you guys too. Shout out to Tim. Tim brought this to our attention yesterday. But here, that should do it. That was Tim came in yesterday while we were playing Divinity and basically dropped some info on us whenever they announced that. We'll talk about it in the news segment today too. That Redfall is going to be at capped at 30 frames per second, and multiplayer on Redfall is only going to have host progression. Host only progression co-op. So, as you can imagine, there are a lot of people that are kind of losing their crap right now about what's the reasoning behind this kind of, and it's like, does 60 frames really matter for most games? I want to read this and see what this author exactly, Ferret. Exactly. I think that's the thing is a lot of us are going, this is regression, dude. Why are developers moving backwards? This is not forwards, man. This is backwards. This is stuff that used to happen back in the day. This is not what we're not moving forward, man. This is not the way. This is not the way. And then I saw, and I talk about it in that link too. There's like a Twitter post or a reply that was like, there was one reply that was like, I don't know why everybody's freaking out. 30 frames will be just fine. First of all, 30 frames is okay in certain kinds of games, certain genres of games. But if you're talking about a fast-paced action combat or shooting game, whether it be third person or first person shooter, whatever, the more frames, the better. It does not, I don't care. The more frames, the better. The more buttery smooth you can get it, the better. And that trumps any kind of high fidelity option that there can be. And so if they were not going to be able to push that game out, and I'll get more into depth with it when we go over that article again, but if they were not going to be able to push the game out initially at like a lot of different, graphical settings or whatever, they should have just aimed for high def and high frame rate. 1080p high frame rate. That's what they should have gone for. There would have been a lot more happy people with that than there are a lot of people that are like, what is going on? Because right now they're like 30 cap frame rate so they can push out like 1440p and 4K and stuff. And then the host only progression is, I don't understand. I don't know what that's about. So you go play multiplayer with people and you get through story with them and stuff like that, and then you go into your own game and you're back to ground zero. You got to do it all over again yourself. What? Who wants to do that? Isn't that the point of like playing with friends? Is to like, so basically, if you want to get the whole story done with somebody, you've got to coordinate to play the whole game together with the same host. You know what I mean? And then you're still not going to have the progression done on your side. It's really, really weird, man. All right, let's see what the other search has for us. We'll talk about it some more. I know I'm already kind of ranting on it, but I don't get it, dude. I don't understand. And somebody else in one of the Twitter comments was like, they need to just delay this and get this sorted out. I was like, dude, it's already been delayed. It's already been delayed. Lay it on me, Ferret. Developer Milky Tea acquired by video gaming group Aonic. See what that is. Um, that is true. That's true, but it's like there are other ways to work through those kinds of issues as well, right? So there are ways to implement the development process of these types of games and online multiplayer where everybody's able to progress. You have to hit certain benchmarks or whatever. You can prevent power leveling. You can also prevent there's a lot of like you have to meet so much criteria before you're able to move on to the next part of story mode or whatever. And it's about meeting certain criteria to queue up and get into. They just didn't want to do it. So it's instead they were just like, well, if you want to play multiplayer, the only kind of progression in the game is for the host, or In my opinion, it seems like a really, really lazy development type. Instead of coming up with ways to incorporate multiplayer for people to progress together when you're playing it at the same time anyways, right? They just said no. So it's like a third person loot and shoot. Yeah. Third person, not first, yeah. I don't think it was first person, is it? Is it first person? Is Redfall no, it is first person, isn't it? Redfall is first person, isn't it? It is first person, I'm pretty sure. It is first person. Yeah. What was I thinking? It was third person. Yeah, it's first person. First person shooter, dude. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking third person. Yeah, I don't know. Look, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I understand where you're coming from, and that might have been part of their thought process, but I still feel like that's a very lazy decision making. It's a lazy way to go about trying to push the game out for people that like. I don't know. So if you take something like, it is it's Arcane, right? So they are a subsidiary. It's so Bethesda's the publisher. They're not the dev. It's Arcane Studios, Doug. Developer Arcane, publisher Bethesda. Yeah. So it's Bethesda Publishing and Arcane Developer. Yep. So just so everybody's very clear, there is a distinct difference between those two things. And not for nothing. I mean, Arcane's made a lot of notable games. Yeah. So let's list some of their games out here. So, Arx Fatalis, Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, Dishonored, Prey, Deathloop. You know what I mean? So it's not like they haven't done stuff before, and then all of a sudden, like, there's these issues going. So it's weird. It's weird. I think. I mean, in my opinion, that's what they should have done. If you're gonna have like these types of games like this that allow online multiplayer, these games that are centered around it too. I mean, this they've been touting this is something that they want people to be doing. They want people to be playing this game together, even though they allow the single player and you don't have to play it. It definitely seems like a game that they're trying to promote as like wanting people to play the game together. Which is the world we live in today, right? So it's all about gaming with friends, and I think that the least they could have done was found ways to, because it's really not that hard. There have always been issues with developers not implementing ways to prevent power leveling and just skipping, to skip progression in getting through the story and stuff, and there are ways around it. There are ways to implement it. You've just got to be willing to take the time to develop that out, whatever the case may be for your particular title and your game and what that entails. You know, there's just got to be certain benchmarks or requirements for getting into certain spots of the story if you're going to be progressing through it in an online environment. They just didn't want to do that, in my opinion. That's the way I see it, anyways. I know where you're coming from too, but I do think that it feels very, very bad for all these people that are trying to get in the game and play the game together, experience it as a multiplayer experience, and then when they go back to play the game, maybe solo or with other friends or whatever, they're going to be starting from scratch again. You know, they're going to have to play the same content over and over because they have to either be the host themselves or go play it solo, which seems really weird to me. Magic the Gathering's creator working on a new game. Let's take a look at that. We've got that up already. Alien Fireteam Elite Switch port announced. Hi. What's up, dude? Oh, nice. All right. What you got in there, dude? Nice, bro. Sick. Psych, what are you doing, dude? Yeah, I already asked him about the penguins. He didn't comment, dude. I don't think he did, anyways. I was like, "What's up with the penguins?" He was like, "It's my birthday," and then left. I'm all right, dude. Thanks for asking, man. It's good to see you, buddy. Happy Thursday. Yeah, I'm not diving into any more of the E3 stuff, dude. Ooh, determined Dark and Darker fan recreating troubled game. Wait, what? In Fortnite? Okay, yeah, Dark and Darker's been kind of hit a roadblock here. If you didn't know, yeah, yeah. What's E3, dude? Yeah, we'll just stay away from it. I've, I've ranted enough about it. I've said enough about it. I'm not gonna. I mean, it's you know, it's been a huge part of the gaming industry for such a long time. It is weird with it being gone, but I don't know. What? Konami worker attempts to murder boss after being power harassed? What? Barrett? Yeah, yeah. Sykes ready too, dude. He's been gone for like 2.5 weeks. You know what I mean? He's like, ah, baby, it's time to start getting OA on some rants, baby. All right, let's stick with these. Check this noise out. Konami worker attempts to murder boss after being power harassed. Dude, yeah, it is so easy, isn't it? It's so easy. I just need to not look at chat. I think is probably the play. A Konami employee has been charged with attempted murder after hitting his former boss with a fire extinguisher, makes claims of systemic harassment. An employee of popular video game publisher Konami has been charged with attempted murder after attacking his boss with a deadly weapon. A worker at Konami Digital Entertainment has been arrested and charged with attempted murder. Japanese news website LiveDoor reports. Wow. The 41-year-old Konami employee admitted to hitting his boss in the head with a fire extinguisher with the intent to kill, saying that his former boss used his position of power to harass the suspect in a form of workplace bullying called power harassment. The assailant told police that he had informed Konami's corporate management about the harassment issues. However, Konami is said to have not identified any instances of power harassment between the suspect and his boss. Yeah. What sucks is that it probably was happening, but nobody wants to say anything. The incident happened on April 11th at Konami's 12th floor offices in the Ginza 6 building located in Chuko, Tokyo. Officers from the nearby Tsukuji police station arrested the suspect shortly after the incident. The news comes years after reports of hostile work environments at Konami, particularly after the controversial breakup between publisher and Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima. Back in 2015, reports surfaced that Konami was imposing relentless work hours on its employees, which is quite common in Japanese culture, and forcing workers to do mundane tasks like cleaning up the fitness gym and doing security guard detail. What? I mean, wouldn't they have employees to do those tasks? Are they talking about Konami specifically having I don't know, that's weird. Konami has yet to issue a formal statement on the matter. The company is typically tight-lipped about the going-ons and internal affairs that occur behind the scenes. Yeah, wild. Wow. Yeah. I mean, Japanese work culture is very, very different, um, for sure. Yeah, no doubt. Uh-huh. But it does sound like one of those typical NFTs, something in foreign language. Nice. Well played, guys. Well played. Yeah, it does seem like one of those issues of kind of just acting like this, trying to make this guy look like he was just off his rocker or whatever, right? But there's probably some serious issues going on at Konami, dude. Interesting. Yikers. Magic the Gathering's creator is working on one of gaming's weirdest genres. Here's the thing about the whole Konami scenario there. Obviously, there's been other things that have come out that are leading people to believe there's some bad workplace stuff going on there. And as we all know, eventually that stuff comes to light, dude. It doesn't matter. Eventually that stuff comes to light. So, sooner or later... Yeah, fair. Yeah. I could absolutely see that too. Sooner or later, we'll probably find out exactly what's going on there. With as much once things finally start leaking out in like what we're seeing right now with Konami, it's kind of an inevitability, right? Because then people are like, we need to start looking into this, agencies and things of that nature start trying to dive in and see what's going on here. That's something might be wrong here, and it's kind of inevitable, it seems. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Magic the Gathering's creator is working on one of gaming's weirdest genres. Richard Garfield has founded a new game studio alongside veteran developers from Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, and Halo. Um, the new studio, known as Popularium, has begun work on its first title. As the name implies, the studio takes a community-centered approach to the development process, taking a leaf from the community-oriented development cycle of titles like beloved ARPG Hades. Popularium aims to incorporate ongoing community involvement into the design process, according to the studio's official website. Popularium goes on to describe its ambitious mission statement. Quote, even in the earliest stages of our game's development, we will provide you with the means to impact both the gameplay and the asset creation in all our games. Our aim is that all of our games be as fun to watch as they are to play. So Popularium has already announced its first project, Chaos Agents. Though very much in early development, Chaos Agents promises to be a genre-bending title, taking the form of a multiplayer strategy game that pits 60-plus unique heroes in a chaotic battle for primacy. A quick look at Popularium's website reveals a distinctive art design reminiscent of Overwatch 2, yet possessed of its own unique flair. Garfield stated his intention to create an auto battler royale. Remains to be seen as to whether or not Chaos Agents will be able to overcome some hurdles they spoke of up above. But either way, the promise of a modular strategic battle royale from such an esteemed team of game designers could be exciting. It'll be fascinating to see what these veterans can come up with in the context of community collaborative development and modern gaming sensibilities. Okay. We'll see what comes, man. We'll see what comes. Interesting. Aliens Fireteam Elite Switchport announced. More content teased. Aliens Fireteam Elite wrapped up its 1-year roadmap in late last year. Had some updates just after, but Cold Iron Studios isn't finished with the co-op focused shooter. Excuse me. Team announced the game is coming to Switch on Alien Day, which is April 26th. Port won't be a native title, however, as it is coming to the platform through cloud streaming. Many games have taken this form to work on Nintendo's system, including Hitman 3, Thamnesia, RE2, RE3, RE Village, The Forgotten City, and both Plague Tale games, and the Kingdom Hearts series. There's going to be 3 versions of the Aliens Fireteam Elite on the eShop. Standard at $30. Ultimate... No. Hive Edition and Ultimate at $40 and $60 respectively. Switch version will be compatible with the game's existing crossplay features that launched near Pathogen. Let players team up no matter what system they're using. I wonder what the player base is like still on Fireteam Elite. Oh, yeah? Lots of grinding in that game, really? Really? Did you play it? Aliens Fireteam Elite has received a ton of support since its release in August of 2021 through free updates and paid DLC. The support includes a new expansion, cross-platform play, additional classes, cosmetics, weapons, cards, modes, and more. The most recent of which was its Ruptured Cistern update that took a limited mode with a multi-floor map and added it to the game permanently, albeit with different rewards. More free content is on the way, slated for April 13th. Oh, no. More free content is on the way. Cold Iron teased another announcement is slated for April 13th. Oh, yo, you know what we got going on today, dude? I'm tripping. There's a showcase today. There's a flipping showcase today. Is it PlayStation? Hold on. Pretty sure. Yep. State of play today at the end of the stream today, guys. Yep. Yeah. I forgot to bookmark that, but we'll be ending the stream today with state of play. 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock today. So it's supposed to be 20 to 30 minutes of state of play. It's supposed to be all Final Fantasy 16 stuff mostly. So, but yeah. If you need any of this Aliens Fireteam Elite stuff here. Oh, you played it a bunch of Last Land Wars, really? What'd you think about it? I've seen just a little bit of the gameplay. Amnesia the Bunker delayed again. Developer Frictional Games has revealed that Amnesia the Bunker has been delayed from its planned May 16th release date. The delay won't be a long one, as the horror game will now be dropping on May 23rd instead. Oh, bro, that's like a week. Trying to avoid conflicting with other big releases set to take place that same month. Yeah. Yeah, as I was thinking, probably Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe pumping it back just a little bit further because of Tears of the Kingdom. That's probably why. If this is the big thing to note, though, from May 16th now, the release for Amnesia the Bunker is now for May 23rd. I need to put that on our. Let me see this. Do I have that in here? Maybe not. Okay. Put it right here. We might play that during Scaretober this year. We'll see. It's a possibility, anyways. Possibility. Becomes repetitive fairly quickly. Feels like it takes a long time to grind out the money and levels to get the better stuff. Okay. Nice. All right. Thanks, Ferret. Thanks, man. If you guys need anything out of this article here, I'll link it for you. Games inbox. Does 60 frames per second really matter? We're gonna read this with the Redfall stuff. Let's just talk about Redfall. Let's go ahead and get this Redfall stuff out of the way. How about that? We talked about it yesterday. Again, shout out to Tinwin. So, yesterday during our gameplay of Divinity with Pinky, it got announced that Redfall, as you can see right here, Redfall at Play Redfall is launching on Xbox consoles with quality mode only. Xbox Series X, 4K 30 frames. Series S, 1440p 30 frames per second. 60 frames per second performance mode will be added via game update at a later date. This is not the only thing that got announced. The other things that got announced were like host only progression. So in the game, which is turning a lot of people off. We've already talked about it a little bit. But let me just pull up an article here. All right, we'll get an article pulled up about. This will work. Yeah. So let's take a look at this. Nice graphics, still fun to play. Just not something I can play more than several rounds of. Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. Right on, dude. Nice. All right. Cool. Thanks, buddy. Arcane and Bethesda say that a performance mode will arrive post-launch. And again, so Redfall locked at 30 frames per second at launch. on Xbox. Um, I don't understand why it's releasing this way instead of backwards. In these types of games, just about everybody I know, and myself included, a higher frame rate is more important than a better resolution. So I don't understand what's going on here. And I mean, obviously, I'm not on the development side of things. Frame rate limits. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess like that could potentially be the case, Ferret. But man, I mean, I'm still just kind of flabbergasted by what's going on here. So I mean, obviously, I don't know what their deal is. I have no idea. They're not being and honestly, I think the best thing they could do was tell everybody why this is happening, because there's a lot of disdain right now for this. And I think that's the best thing Arcane could do is be like, yo, this is the reason why. Because we can speculate all day long, but ultimately we don't really know. And it could be something like that. But at the same time, I mean, how long have they been developing this game? It's now been delayed. And if that is the issue, if it's something along those lines of like higher frames results and higher damage, and it's like this is one of those issues, man, that I talk about with, delays are good. Developers need to be able to delay. They need to feel comfortable delaying. They also don't need to be pushing dates out that they're not ready to meet, right? So I know this is one of those tough things for a developer and the publisher and marketing and all of that coming together. So delays are needed. But I think there's also an issue in gaming nowadays where you get certain departments not talking to one another well enough, and then you get these dates pushed out, or maybe there's just too much pressure from one side of it or whatever, quite often from, I think, marketing or the publishing side of things or what have you. And it results in crap like this. And dude, I'm just gonna say it. If a game is being pushed out and we're already hearing about it being locked at a frame rate like this, I have significant concerns about the technical performance that the game is going to release at. What it's going to feel like when it plays. This is old school frame rate standard, dude. This is not new stuff. I think that's one of the other things that's an issue for me. It's not like, we haven't been developing games at a standard of 60 frames per second, for a long time now. And it doesn't mean that you can't have some unforeseen issues and things like that, like what you're talking about with the Destiny stuff. We'll read about here in a bit with, maybe some weird damage scaling crap happening that they've got to figure out or whatever, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Oh yeah, exactly. Fair. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the thing that's crazy about it too. You're gonna have these people from the gaming, the mod community in the gaming world that go, yeah, hold my beer, basically, right? Um, and that's one of my big things is, and man, I talk about this a lot too. having open lines of communication and getting these developers to want to communicate with us and let us know why they're doing the things they're doing, that's important to me. But I talk about the, developing a healthy relationship between us and the developer all the time, us as the video game lovers and us as the consumer and the developer. I think that's a very important thing, but there are things that are constantly hurting that relationship all the time. From the small population of us, the consumers or the game players, there's a small fraction of us that are not really on par with reality, and they feel like it's their prerogative to go attack people unjustified and to a great extreme too, right? Like you implemented some kind of like debuff to the character I play in this game, and so they like show up at the developers flipping grounds or whatever and threaten people, or there's things like that that make them not want to have open lines of communication with people. And then at the same time, there's been a lot of stuff that developers have done to hurt their relationship with us too. So I don't know necessarily what the key is to fixing it, because there's been things and there continues to be things on both sides of the ball here that have degraded and continue to degrade that relationship, and make it really hard for good lines of communication to be opened up between us and them, right? Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, and obviously, what this community about is trying to help people understand that it's okay to have to it's about being civil, right? You don't have to lose your crap about everything. Just understand how to be a bit more mature about the. I mean, everybody has occasions where I think one of the best things, and it's not an easy thing to do. People run on emotion quite often. Emotion clouds your judgment, man. Emotion clouds your judgment, and it people that run on emotion don't necessarily think right. They make rash decisions, and quite often it's things that people end up regretting later. And people need to learn how to take a beat, be a bit more civil about the way they approach things, and not run just so high on emotion and just reacting to emotion. Mr. Lame Jedi. Yeah, I guess, dude. But I mean, the whole relationship thing between us and developers is absolutely something that needs to change, so that we can get hopefully some better information from some of these situations like this. Like, why is this happening? This isn't the only game that's done this either. Like this recently happened in another title dude. I mean, not for nothing, but Gotham Knights, this was the same situation. Gotham Knights was locked at 30 frames. That's another action-based game. You don't want 30 frames in an action-based game. And that game tanked. Yeah, I agree, Ferret. I agree. Very much so. I agree very much so. And that's why a big part of what this community is about, trying to make sure people maintain civility about, you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. Just be civil about things, a lot of people in the world have a hard time with that, though. Anything that is not the same as what you are, for many people in the world, results in them just blowing up, right? And that's a big problem in the world as far as I'm concerned. So I don't. This is not a good look. I have big concerns here. I've not been excited about Redfall in anything I've seen from the game, anyways. And then when you have additional things like this come out with a frame rate lock like this, I mean, again, the standard for like the past decade, really, the standard has gotten to 60 frames for about the past decade. 60 frames per second has really been the standard, and we're seeing regression. Obviously, there's something to be said for, the higher resolutions that we try to push. There's to hit those resolutions. Quite often, it takes, reducing things on the other end, and so it's, maybe taking down frame rate, taking down some of those other things like we were talking about yesterday, right? Ferret, whether it be like, blooming effects or a lot of other the really hardware intensive visual effects, depending on how good your graphics hardware is, you have to compensate for one thing or the other, but for a game to launch and an action styled game, I'm willing to bet that 75 to 80% of gamers are more worried about a higher frame rate than they are a higher resolution, man. And this is a weird look. And not knowing why they did this is not helping matters. So, and the host only progression, I don't understand that play. I just don't get it. Like I said, I understand where, Ferret made a good point earlier. Ferret made a good point earlier about how maybe it was just something to, prevent certain things from happening, like pulling people in that had like OP stuff or but I don't know that even is going to really do that, because it wasn't that what you were stating, Fair. It was that like maybe it was a play at what did you say exactly? Or was it, dude? I don't want to misquote. Good night. Or was it? So much text, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So keep your game at a certain kind of level playing field, keeping people from bringing in OP stuff. But honestly, I don't even know that what they're doing here would prevent that. I don't even know that what they're doing here would prevent people from showing up with like OP stuff and just doing that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I think I get what you're saying. Like so, if you're progressing, prevents others from just coming in with their characters with all sorts of stuff past where you are. Um, but that's kind of what I was getting at. Was I think that's where the I think that's where, and I don't know how they've got the game set up, but like power levels for characters, whatever they want to call it, only certain power, like there needs to be certain checks, right? Have you gotten past this story progression level? Are you past this power level? There needs to be certain kinds of checks to say, um, if you don't meet this criteria, you can't join this lobby because you don't meet that, right? I think that's a better way to go about implementing those kinds of things for a game like this, where co-op is I think something they've really been trying to push for. They want people playing this game together, and then they're saying host only progression, right? So if you go in and you play with somebody, the host is the only one that's going to progress through any kind of the game. You go back and play your game after you're done in that online session, and you don't get any of that progression. Only the host gets it. And I don't know that the Oh, was it Far Cry 5 did that too? Yeah, I don't know. So as far as what you're stating is, I think that there's still going to be the issue of like, say you're a host, you're hosting a multiplayer game, right? So there's still going to be an issue of what you're talking about. You're hosting a multiplayer game. Somebody hops in your game because there are no checks, there are no benchmarks, there are no like, you know, kind of doors for keeping people in and out as far as progression is concerned. And so you're going to have people popping into these multiplayer games where the host might be at a certain point. You're going to have other people popping in that have gotten way past there, so they're way over leveled. They've got a ton of overpowered stuff, and they can just come in and wipe everything out for you. Right? So I think it actually makes an issue worse. Playing the main campaign as a co-op session, story progression will only be saved for the host. The guests can return to their own single-player campaign and continue where they left off. Guests playing in co-op will be able to keep any of the following they collect: challenge progress, in-game currency, inventory, perk points, purchased items, unlocked perks, silver bars. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this, man. I gotta say. Um, so I guess, whatever. But from what I can see, uh, this doesn't prevent anybody from actually coming in as a um, just joining a session with a host and just carrying people through either. You know what I mean? Whereas if you had the online environment set up with certain kinds of checks for um, level progression, things like that, yeah, it would absolutely depend, right? It would absolutely depend. And we don't know all the ins and outs of the Redfall stuff yet, but it seems like a weird play to me. Seems like a weird play. I know that people are upset because they don't want to have to replay this content. They don't want to have to replay story content, especially. And this is a bigger deal when the game first comes out, right? So this is a bigger deal when the game first comes out because a lot of people are wanting to play the game together and progress together. Yeah. So as the game has some age on it, it's not going to be as big of a deal. But there are a lot of people that have been waiting on this game to come out, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't wait! We're going to be able to play this together. We're going to progress together. It's going to be a lot of fun." And then it's like, "Oh, well, yeah, about that." So you guys can play online, but only the host is going to progress, and then you'll have to go. So basically what they've done is made it to where like you and your friends won't be able to progress in the story together. So somebody will have to host, then you guys will have to run through the story together for the host, then either those people will have to go back and play the story themselves again, or you'll each have to go in and play the story for each individual person in multiplayer sessions to get it taken care of. You're going to have to do it numerous times, you know? Yeah. I just think it's one of those things that, like, people are being forced into it. You know what I mean? So if you want to go back and play, right, 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 exactly. If you want to go back and like, I think that's the big thing. Having the option to go back and check out story content as an option is a big deal. But being forced into it and not being able to progress through story as a co-op situation is pretty molding for people. Being forced to have to do it over is, I think, for a lot of people, not fun. Rather than just giving the option of being able to go back and experience it again at your discretion. Right. But I think this is why people are, as gaming evolves, gamers are starting to go, when is this going to end? You know what I mean? Like, because we know it's not something that has to be done. There are plenty of other devs that aren't doing this kind of thing, right? And this is supposed to be a big play from Arcane. This game is supposed to be a big play from Arcane, Bethesda, and Microsoft. As, Bethesda, the publisher, Microsoft owns Bethesda. You know what I mean? And so I think this is where there's so much disdain coming for it, is that it's not a popular thing for, as far as people wanting this. It's not something people want. People haven't wanted this, really, right? In the past, it was, I think more of a development standpoint of something that was harder to maybe implement. But nowadays, I don't see that. And there are plenty of other developers that aren't having to do this kind of thing. And so why is it still being done? I think that's the biggest thing for people. Why is it still happening, But again, we don't really know, because we don't get any kind of information from the developers either. They're not trying to talk to us about why this is happening. What was your decision-making process behind this? They had to know people were not going to be stoked about this. I mean, I fail to believe that they made this decision and were like, people are going to love this. You know what I mean? And then how do you handle that PR backlash? They had to know that pushing out this information yesterday was going to just result in a lot of criticism. And how do you prepare for that? In my opinion, the best way is to just be open and let people know what's going on. But we don't get that ever, really, So when Arcane Studios launches vampire hunting shooter Redfall in May, it will ship on Xbox with a frame rate capped at 30 frames per second. According to the game's official Twitter account, the ability to play Redfall at 60 frames in performance mode will be added to the game at a later date, Arcane announced Wednesday. Redfall is launching on Xbox consoles with quality mode only. The Redfall account reads that means 30 frames at 4K and on Series X, and 30 frames at 1440p on Series X. I think that's Series S, actually. Redfall will also launch on Windows PC on May 12th, where it will seemingly not be performance constrained, as players on PC can push toward a 60 frame rate or beyond with more powerful hardware. Go PC. Here's the issue, though. Okay, look. I'm scared for the PC version, too. I hope it's great. But whenever I see versions of games differ like this, like, I mean, hopefully it means they optimized for PC. Yeah. I mean, that's another thought is, but again, on the flip side of things, we talk about this all the time. Why is the game not being optimized for every single platform they're putting it out on? I'm a PC player, so awesome. That's great. I want to see games optimized for PC, but I want to see anytime a developer releases a game on any platform, it should be optimized for that platform. And right now, this game does not seem optimized for console. It seems more optimized for PC, but there seems to be some wonkiness going on between the different versions of this game, which is also has me scared about it as a whole. You know what I mean? This game's not ready. Let's just go ahead and call this what it is. This game's not ready, dude. Reaction to this Redfall announcement has been resoundingly negative, with numerous comments on Twitter calling for a delay or a 1080p 60 frame option on Xbox platforms. Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about the games that I see all the time on PC that aren't optimized for PC, that feel terrible on PC, because that's my platform of choice. That's what I game on almost always, right? I'll game on some other stuff occasionally, but I love PC, dude. That's my jam, and so I tend to focus a lot on PC stuff, but I talk about it a lot. I don't care what platform a game comes out on. If it feels like trash on any of them, that's a fail, dude. That's a loss. I don't care if other people are getting to experience it in a great way on another platform. If it doesn't feel good on any of them, that developer has failed. Because whatever platform that it feels like crap on, those people got cheated. They got cheated out of their money, man. And that sucks. Reaction to the Redfall announcement has been resoundingly negative, with numerous comments on Twitter calling for a delay or a 1080p 60 frame option on Xbox. A delay for Redfall seems unlikely at this stage, given that the game was already pushed out of 2022 last May in order to deliver, quote, let's not forget this quote, the best, most polished version of the game, publisher Bethesda Softworks said at the time. Arcane's announcement echoes the console performance woes of another recent release last year, Gotham Knights, which I just name dropped. I mean, dude, it is you see these kinds of similarities in a lot of these titles that show the same kind of issues, and it's hard not to compare, man. Another co-op open world loot focused game that suffered from delays and performance issues. And we don't know that Redfall is going to suffer from these same things yet, but it's not looking good right now. Redfall is coming to Windows, PC, and Xbox on May 12th. It will launch day one on Microsoft's Game Pass subscription service. Dude, yeah, that's what I noted. Somebody else said this too. 30 frames at 1440p was for the Series S, not X. That's a misprint in this article. I don't know, man. It's pretty rough. Yeah, definitely warning flags have been raised. Yeah. No doubt. I mean, we talk about that all the time too in these news segments, right? I mean, it's we get those flashing lights a lot, man, about these games and things that have been pretty notable concerns throughout their development process that honestly just kind of make me go, yeah, I'll just watch it at launch and see what happens. And I'm telling you, about 7 to 8 times out of 10, it's pretty on par, man, with what I expect. A lot of those concerns are valid, and they show up in the end result of the game release. So, from that Redfall news, which again, shout out to our buddy Tinwin for bringing this to my attention yesterday. This was the tweet that he sent us. Took a look at that from the Redfall. We'll segue here into, does 60 frames per second really matter? Absolutely, but it depends on the genre of game. Okay. Look, if you're gonna go play a game like, Vampire Hunters, it's not really going to matter whether you're rocking 30 frames to 60 frames to 120 frames. It's not that big of a deal. But if you're playing a game like, yo, Peter, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Dude, I saw a wild video yesterday that reminded me of you. There was this crazy off-road terrain vehicle I saw in a video, a quick video. I meant to grab it and throw it in Discord and tag you in it, and I forgot. I'll see if I can find it again. This vehicle was nuts, dude. Made me think of you, though. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was getting ready to get at, Ferret. Yeah, I mean, so if you're playing a game like Vampire Hunters, it's not as big of a deal. Any kind of game, though, where it's very action-based, whether it be melee-focused action, like something like, Spider-Man or God of War, especially when you're playing on higher difficulty levels, and to an even greater extent when you get into shooting games, playing shooting games, whether it be third person or first person, the higher frame rate, the better. You want that buttery smooth. And look, to be fair, okay, what's funny to me is that nowadays monitors be pushing crazy frame rates, dude. Crazy frame rates. And honestly, the human eye can only distinguish a certain level of frames per second, okay? So, but a lot of people don't realize that. So, these developers for monitors and the hertz they can push and stuff, it's like higher numbers the better, because a lot of people don't understand that, right? but the human eye can only really discern, that there's a limit to it. The human eye can only see so fast. And that's basically what frames per second is, right? But nonetheless, there's a huge difference between playing any kind of action-based game, whether it be a shooter or a melee-focused kind of God of War type game, ARPG, whatever. There's a big difference between seeing everything at 30 frames and seeing things at 60 frames. And to an even greater extent, seeing things from like 60 frames to 120 frames, right? Where 60 frames has become the standard over like the past decade. And we've gotten even further quite often with like, I've got 144 hertz monitors, but I usually just push them at like 120 frames. But I mean, dude, you're talking 240 hertz. I mean, way even above that nowadays. You can just push super high frame rates. But the developers seem like they're regressing, man, and getting, like we just talked about, Redfall is coming out on console locked at 30 frames. Or you talk about Gotham Knights that came out locked at 30 frames across all platforms, which was disgusting, and it doesn't make any sense for us to be regressing backwards instead of pushing forwards, I just don't understand. And I'm not a developer. I'm not a game developer, but we don't get any kind of inside information from these publishers and developers either as to why this is happening, Yeah, the whole discussion on what the human, and a lot of that has to do with it's all going to be a bit respective to each individual person too, right? Everybody's eyes are different, dude. And so from one person to the next, there's going to be like an amount of difference from one individual to the next on how many frames per second is from one person's able to differentiate between and be able to actually utilize from somebody else. You know what I mean? What can be perceived by the human eye. But as a kind of a baseline or whatever, what was the last thing I had heard? I think it was somewhere around 200 to 250 or something was the last thing I'd read, but that was a while back. I don't know. Something. It might have been even a little bit lower than that. I can't remember. But it continues to change, But when you talk about like that's what I remember reading about the latest, something like that. And then there's like, you talk about monitors nowadays being up at like the 500 frames per second, It's like, dude, that's like double what most people, at least what the medical field actually thinks, anyways, what most people will actually be able to even discern, between frames per second. It's pretty crazy. So trust no one. I've seen some people complaining about the announcement that Redfall is not 60 frames, but I really struggle to care. Redfall is being described as similar to Far Cry. Hey, dude, ferret, there you go, man. But I really struggle to describe similar to Far Cry. None of those games ever ran at 60 frames, yet somehow they managed to be highly successful. Willing to bet that the vast majority of people have no idea what 60 frames even is and could never reliably tell which game did and didn't have it. As many predicted when it first became a talking point, it's just become something else to argue about on the internet and to stick to beat whatever someone doesn't happen to like, whether it be a game publisher, developer, or console maker. Yes, Microsoft talked a lot of rubbish in the early days about 60 frames becoming a standard. They shouldn't have. But them and Sony will say anything, especially before a console is released, to make you buy their stuff. For all they supported clued-in gamers arguing over minor options that don't matter. Oh, this person doesn't know what they're talking about, dude. Who is this? Who wrote this? Dancing? Okay, that's all there really is for that. I'm not getting into the other stuff here. Look, man, we just talked about it. I'm not going to go into any more. People that think there's not a reason to have higher frame rates in certain genres of games are out of their minds. They don't understand the way technology works and the way gaming works, if that's the case. The higher your frame rate, the more smooth a game looks, and the faster you're able to see things happening in the game, which allows you to react quicker. So any action-based game, whether it be a melee-focused game, a shooting type game, whatever, there are plenty of examples out there on like YouTube. You can go look at YouTube for like shooting games. Go look at YouTube for like shooting games, and you'll see a difference. They can show you frame by frame a 30 FPS versus a 60 FPS, and how much difference there is in how you can react in a 60 frame per second versus a 30 frame per second, and what you can see and how it allows you to react. It is a stark difference, dude. Complete difference. Yeah. I mean, I get that too, but again, the lower the frame rate, the bigger a difference there is. I will tell you that right now. And anybody that here's my thing. I think a lot of people that have this kind of reaction haven't done a lot of gaming on different frame rates. They don't understand the differences that you can get from different frame rates in different genres of games and the difference that it can make for you. So I'm not going to call this person stupid, but I am going to call this person very ignorant. So because as far as I'm concerned, this is an ignorant take, and ignorant meaning uninformed, uneducated on this particular topic, in my opinion. So again, as I stated, there are certain genres of games that you don't need anything higher than 30 frames. It's fine. But there are a lot of games out there too where you absolutely benefit, and Redfall is one of them. You absolutely benefit greatly just from a jump from 30 to 60. And then anything you get above 60 is just a bonus. It's like it's a great help too. But there's no reason for a game like that to be at 30 frames. I'm sorry. I can't get behind it, dude. What's this? Developer Milky Tea acquired by video gaming group Aonic, working on multiple new IPs. The new partnership will support Milky Tea in developing its own in-house gaming intellectual property whilst also expanding its operations. After previously working on a successful Apple Arcade launch title, Hyper Brawl Tournament, the studio is currently working on multiple new IPs that are yet to be announced publicly. Previous majority shareholder Jonathan Holmes will remain on board as minority shareholder and the studio's appointed CEO. We've had a great relationship with the Antics leadership team for multiple years. After we had decided to take the next strategic step in our development, we sat down with Antics last April, immediately knew there was great potential in our collaboration. This new partnership is a fantastic opportunity and will allow Milky Tea to continue to go from strength to strength, says Holmes. The entire team at Antics is incredibly passionate about Milky Team's exciting new IPs currently in the works. With our shared vision, we believe our network can really support Milky Tea in making these games a success. Milky Tea Games Studios' new IPs will be announced later in the year. I don't even know what they make, dude. Kayla, what up? Dude, it's been gorgeous outside here lately. Yeah, it's been, I mean, it's definitely, spring is here, man. Yeah. Okay, but it would have been cool for them to, like, say what these developers are known for. But there you go. If you need anything out of that here. PlayStation Plus axes Marvel Spider-Man, one of its biggest games, soon. So it's a new month, which means Sony's adding another crop of games to its PlayStation Plus vault for extra and premium subscribers. There's some good additions here, including Dishonored and Doom Eternal. But as the saying goes, out with the old and in with the new. Insomniac's games, Marvel Spider-Man is poised to get dropped from PS Plus game catalog in May. All right. So Sony announced April's additions to its vast game catalog on the PlayStation blog. So Dishonored and Doom Eternal, alongside emotional action adventure game Kenna Bridge of Spirits, the extreme sports multiplayer sim Riders Republic, and the FPS Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Yeah, Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man is leaving next month. PS Plus Extra and Premium Game Catalog, Bassmaster Fishing, Doom Eternal, The Evil Within, nice, dude, great game. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, Paradise Killer, Riders Republic, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Slay the Spire, fantastic game also, Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. PlayStation Premium Classics, Doom, Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 64, and Dishonored Definitive Edition. All right? If you need more out of that, I'll shoot it to you. There you go, Peter. Yo, dude, I'll show you guys a fishing game that I used to jam out on all the time. It was this, dude. Um, I think this is what it was called. Yeah, dude, this was my jam, dude. Bassin's Black Bass, dude, on Super Nintendo. Dude, this game was a jam. This game was so dope, dude. I loved this game, dude. Oh man, yo, Kayla. Yeah. You're not wrong. I mean, I live up north, but north Mideast, or Midwest. I mean, and so I think we're finally done with it at this point. I think we're finally over the snow stuff. You know, we're still gonna get some storms and stuff. We've hit like tornado weather kind of stuff. You know, so it's warmed up. But we still get some drops in temperature occasionally, so it'll create those funnels and stuff, you know. We get thunderstorms and stuff now, though. No more snow, really. Looking pretty sunny now. Yeah, dude, yeah. This game was amazing, dude. I loved this game. This game was so good. All right, fans are already revolting against AI that make their games feel cheap and soulless. Fishing game on PC a long time ago. No clue what it was called. Outside of that, my fishing is limited to whatever game had fishing. I mean, that's dude. That's you know, that's where I really quit playing like dedicated fishing games. Right? It was back on like Super Nintendo. Well, I loved it. Me and my cousin, dude, we used to just me and one of my cousins, we used to game together all the time. He was a little bit older than me, but that was our jam, dude. We would just game together all night long. Dude, we would stay up all night long gaming together. And sometimes, dude, we would go rent like that fishing game. We would just play that fishing game, dude, all night long. And but outside of that, same here, Ferret. I got to where my fishing game stuff experiences just got to where it was like in game, like mini game fishing stuff, you know, which I love, dude. It's super dangerous for me. I love the in game, like the mini game fishing stuff for games is awesome. Wait, really be cold and hot. Always add layers. You can only take so much off. I mean, speak for yourself. I'm not shy. Oh man. Fortnite and Animal Crossing? Yeah. That's true. That's true. I knew somebody was going to say that. I knew somebody was going to say that. Despite all the discourse about what effects the AI will have on game development, we don't have to speculate about what can happen. We just take a look at how AI is transforming game development in China right now. A combination of AI adaptation and regulatory setbacks have reportedly caused illustration jobs to decrease by 70% already, guys. With the companies increasingly relying on DAL-E and Midjourney to produce fast and cheap assets for video games. However, Chinese players are unimpressed with the results. According to rest of world, both Chinese gaming giants and indie developers have started to adapt the cost-cutting potential of this ethically dubious technology. NetEase, I talk about the ethic issues with this all the time. NetEase had a Naraka Bladepoint event last month in which players used AI to generate character skins for the action-adventure battle royale game. Chinese players criticized the decision, said that AI drawings, which depicted characters with improperly rendered faces such as large eyes and crooked mouths and missing limbs, appeared to be soulless. While Tencent has openly researched and implemented AI technology, the adoption hasn't gone down smoothly, and one of their studios was caught in a gaming controversy earlier this year. In February, a developer was forced to apologize after players discovered that parts of an Alchemy Stars poster was partially produced with AI. They promised to stream the drawing process for their future illustrations and asked fans not to take their anger out on the developers. After a voice actor in the popular Otome game Tears of Themis was arrested, Huyoverse used an in-house AI system to reproduce his voice for the duration of a limited time event. Players who saw the side-by-side comparisons complained the character was too soft-spoken and that Vin normally had a very self-important tone that was not adequately conveyed by the AI. Yeah, this is a weird situation, dude. That depends, Kayla. That depends. There are a lot of beaches in the world that you can go to nude, man. And it's absolutely fine. A lot of them in Europe. Europe's a way more like chill place about that kind of thing, man. You know, but there are a lot of beaches, man, that there's just like, yo, it's cool. Been on lunch for 21 minutes. Where's time going? Well, that's good. I mean, at least time's going fast. That's good, man. Get the day over. But you're not wrong. I'm just trolling a little bit. So again, look, man. I think that as far as AI goes with development in games, whether it be for, you know, any form or fashion in the development of video games, I can't even show my chest, dog. You know what I mean? Unless I'm sitting in a hot tub. Um, you know. So, and to be fair, My nipples look like tentacle suckers, dude. They've been tattooed, but I would still get in trouble. So yeah, unfair, man. um, the AI side of things is weird. I can see where AI can be a very very useful thing in development, but there's a balance to it. It's a very unethical thing in a lot of ways too. I think that for it to be used in a good way for development in video games, uh, original unique assets have to be created first and foremost for each individual project. You have to have artists, whatever it is, digital art, um, the music, the everything for a game, the writing and all that stuff. You have to have the coding, dude. The All of it. You have to have original, good, big, huge baskets of original art for each project. And then if you want to incorporate AI to take some of that and help generate new stuff out of it or whatever, cool. But to just take AI and try and do like what we're reading about in these articles, that's not a good thing in my opinion. It's not good. A lot of ethical issues behind it too. Valve is about to slash the file size of the Steam Deck's solid state drive, hogging shader caches in half. An upcoming graphics driver update freeing some precious gigs on the Steam Decks. Here's some exciting news for those of us with smaller Steam Decks. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I got one of those big Steam Decks. You know what I'm saying? Some exciting news for those with the smaller Steam Deck solid state drives or choice paralysis over what games to uninstall. A forthcoming update to the Steam Deck's open source video driver will shrink the gaming handheld's shader cache files by approximately 60%. Valve has confirmed to PC Gamer. A recent report on Phoronix highlighted an update coming in Mesa 23.1, which re-implements the RAD-V pipeline cache based on the common VK pipeline cache. Let's get to the gist of this. Yeah, fair. Yeah. In Steam Deck's case, Valve has created big shader cache files for individual games that are delivered during the installation process, improving performance and helping avoid the dreaded shader compilation stutter. The downside to these shader caches is how much space they take up, potentially multiple gigs for larger games. With the new Vulkan pipeline cache, however, they're about to get a lot smaller. Nice. Like 60% smaller. Nice. The update is supposed to arrive with Mesa Driver 23.1, expected to land in early May. We know that Steam OS 3.5 is also on its way soon, including a graphics driver update. Expect these two things will coincide, first in a beta Steam OS release, then a stable release early this summer. Cool. All right, nice. All right. Well, that's good news, man. I tell you what, dude, Valve just continues to, seems like anyways, they continue to make great improvements to this device, and they've done a great job so far, it seems. Spellcraft created a new gaming genre, but at what cost? Spellcraft is a real-time strategy battler, but what does that mean and how will it succeed? It might surprise you to learn that Spellcraft started out as a real-time card game. First few months of development on the competitive game were spent working out how exactly that would work before realizing it was, in the developer's own words, cursed, and the players were battling the UI more than they were battling each other. But developer One More Game was keen to fulfill its initial premise for the game. It wanted to do something that had never been done before. Spellcraft wouldn't be a copycat. It wouldn't piggyback off more popular games. It wouldn't be like anything you've ever played before. It succeeded, creating a real-time strategy battler unlike anything else I've tried. But at what cost? Practically indescribable, blending auto battling with League-esque abilities and hex-based strategy gameplay. It's unlike anything else on the market. Spellcraft has a steep learning curve. That's kind of the point. This is new, and one more game wants players to buy into this ethos. Excuse me. Free-to-play live service game. It needs players. As such, matches are chaotic but short. Characters are drawn from fantasy, science fiction, and marine life, and development had a strong focus on making the game watchable. Developers hope that Spellcraft will be a reverse Smash Bros, where players grow attached to one or more of its varied characters, and that love spawns spin-offs. There's an octopus pirate captain, yes, who is a personal favorite of mine. Mine too. Now, not least because of its ability to grow stronger as the match progresses, it's an octopus pirate captain. Exactly. If that doesn't get its own Arcane-like TV show, I don't know what will. The rest of the cast is a diverse group of humanoids. Developers assured me that 28 characters currently in some stage of development are, quote, representative of as many people as we possibly can, and drawing from as many fantasy genres and tropes as they can think of. Engaging characters are only a small part of keeping players interested, though. This is where the short, watchable matches come in. Watchability was one of our goals from day zero, explains Nick Davidson, head of design at One More Game. We wanted to make sure that this was an entertaining game to watch. Let's take a look at this. I love tentacles. Yes.
Hey there, I'm Nick Davidson, head of design at One More Game. I'm going to give you a sneak peek into the gameplay of our first title, Spellcraft. It's a competitive, real-time tactical game, unlike anything you've played before. This demo is one of the very first looks at gameplay we've shown before our first public alpha, launching on Steam April 6th. Spellcraft is a new type of strategy game. We're calling it a real-time battler, in which you command a team of heroes and cast their spells to outplay your opponents. It's kind of like if you were in charge of a MOBA team fight, or a full squad in an MMO arena.
Interesting.
Match. Here's the basics of how you play. Your 3 heroes each have a basic spell, an ultimate spell, and a passive. The object of the game is to win 4 rounds against your opponent, by either pulling off a team wipe, or scoring more KOs than your opponent. Let's jump into a game, and I'll show you some plays. Alright, here I'm down by 1, and it's not...
Bro, this looks like chaos.
But Zave, my fire mage, is ready to come back to the fight. When he respawns, he drops meteors on an entire row, causing massive damage to heroes that can't get out of the way. Looks like Cage's ultimate is ready. Slam Dunk executes heroes under 20% HP. And that's a team wipe. Come from behind victory. Between rounds, both players draft from a shared pool of items that buff your heroes with powerful stats and effects. Here, I'll put Focusing Lens on Aster. Because she now has 2 offensive category items, she'll also get the Slayer buff, which does what it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
You can pick up powerful single-use spells that go to whoever gets the last hit on the bubble. Here I get a little lucky and I pick up Giant Slice with a meteor that lets me swing back with some big damage on Ula and Reset. I'm going into overtime. That means I need 2 more KOs to win. Zave's ultimate, Combust, is a massive nuke for targets that are already burning, like this enemy Europa. When I respawn Cage, he's briefly invulnerable, taunting adjacent enemies and taking the heat for my team. And if we line multiple enemies up for Aster, her attacks will pierce through and hit them all. 1 more to win, Slam Dunk is ready. And boom, that's the game. In the alpha, Spellcraft has these 9 heroes, but we've got a bunch more in development for launch. I'm going to build an AoE-focused team, so I'm going to pick Reset as the tank and add Aster and Europa for their powerful AoE attacks.
Tentacle Pirate Captain.
That make the most sense,
I don't really dig the look,
and
dude.
then I'm off to play some matches. The initial Spellcraft public alpha will kick off on April 6th and run for over a week here on Steam. If you add us to your wish list on Steam, we'd really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot.
Okay. Interesting. If you guys want to read more about it, I'll link it for you. I never heard of that. Interesting. What we've learned about Sony PlayStation's new smartphone games team. Will a third time be the charm? Sony wants 20% of the new games to be on smartphones by 2025. Last August, it announced a new PlayStation Studios mobile division to help make that happen. Yo, do you think this is any coincidence that like Microsoft is actually trying to currently set up a mobile app store to compete with like Apple and Google, and now Sony is like, I'm telling you, man, it's like everything that Microsoft does and Xbox does, Sony and PlayStation are like right behind it. They just follow everything that Microsoft and Xbox does. That's at least the way it seems to me. Right. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the whole dude. That was so gross, though. So this, yeah, that was the whole like Windows 8 situation. They tried making their smartphones. They tried having their own app store. They had their they made Windows 8, which was supposed to be good for both desktops and laptops and mobile devices, and it was disgusting. Windows 8 was so bad. I hated it, dude. It was so gross. Most people did not like Windows 8. Um, so yeah. Like, nah, Unk. Sorry, bro. Yeah. No, I remember seeing the Windows phones too, and I knew that they were not gonna last, man. But um, so sorry. I think if anybody has a good enough potential to get something like that going, Microsoft's already kind of got like their app store um, for like Windows and everything. So it's not going to be too hard for them to play off of that and get like the mobile app stuff going too. A big. This is one of the big reasons they want this acquisition behind Activision Blizzard to happen is because of the portfolio they get, right? So if you think about some of there's already a ton of mobile games that they're going to come along with that, right? Because King's part of that acquisition, right? Because Activision Blizzard bought out King a long time, which is like Candy Crush and all that stuff, right? So with all of that, yeah, I mean, obviously the big thing that we keep talking about with the Activision Blizzard acquisition is Call of Duty. But that's not the only play here for Microsoft, right? So for Microsoft, it's the entire portfolio they get. It's a big deal for them. It's a big deal because of Call of Duty. It's a big deal because of all the other IPs that are currently running. They'll get to put on Game Pass. It's a big deal because of all the other IPs that people love that haven't seen the light of day for a long time. They'll get to sit down and take a look at bringing back into modern gaming, bringing them back to life. It's a big deal because they're also trying to set up an app store, and there's a lot of potential in that too. So does it mean they'll be successful? No, but it gives them a big jump and a big boost in diving in there, right? And let's be honest, man. I mean, Apple and Google, they've got a lock on that market, dog. So having another competitor in there isn't necessarily going to hurt anything, right? Um, Getting another competitor in there to compete with Apple and Google isn't necessarily going to be a bad thing by any means. But it doesn't mean they'll be successful either. So we'll just have to see how it works out. But here we go. Sony. You should know that what Sony's building doesn't look like a new game studio that will produce its own games, nor say a way to port Sony's biggest games to phones the way that they're getting ported to PC. 17 current and former job postings suggest that PlayStation Studios Mobile is more of a cross-functional management, strategy, licensing, and support team. They figure what PlayStation intellectual property would best fit a mobile phone, help dish out that licensed IP to internal and external game studios alike, oversee the titles, make sure the final games live up to Sony's expectations, maybe invest or even acquire external developers if there's strategic value in it. This is the third time Sony's tried to get smartphone gaming off the ground. Following its failed PlayStation mobile platform and its way forward studio that's only produced 2 games, Everybody's Golf and this JRPG, specifically for the Japanese market. Sony was also preparing to bring its PlayStation Now cloud gaming service to phones. But let's not count that since Sony never announced it. Yeah, this is talking about a bunch of the job postings they have listed right now for all of it. Yeah, Nintendo's doing the same thing. Nintendo hasn't had a big dive into the mobile market either, but now they've got DNA. We've talked about that in the news segment. Sony's doing it. I mean, we see some of them taking a harder pivot into trying to get into the mobile side, and then we see other ones that are like, dude, it's not working. Like we've seen, you know, Apex Mobile is been taken down. Battlefield Mobile's being taken down. You know, it's a polluted segment, the mobile side of things. So I mean, there's a lot of money to be had in it too, but it's very polluted. Gaming in general is polluted. So you've got to do something good. You got to do something that stands out. You got to have good content, or it's not going to work. We'll see what happens. Not just with Sony, but oh, Ferret, Doug, agreed. Yeah, well played, sir. Yeah, well played. Uh huh. Yep. Oh God, it's just gonna hurt forever, isn't it? Nintendo's so dumb. Yeah, I said it. It's not the first time. It does hurt, dude. It does hurt. It does. I agree. Sony appears to have stopped email receipts for PlayStation Plus games. Email receipts are sent whenever games are downloaded from the PSN store, but this includes free games downloaded as part of the PS Plus subscription. Something Sony has been doing since the PS3 days and likely caused many players confusion when downloading multiple games at once and receiving individual email receipts for each, despite them being for zero monies. Several reports have suggested that Sony has stopped sending out these receipts. Okay. Well, there you go. If you're used to getting those, you should no longer be getting those. Cool? April's PS Plus Extra and Premium games include Doom Eternal and Ken Bridge of Spirits. We already talked about this. And Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man is leaving next month, okay? We already talked about that. I'm getting rid of that. Okay. Destiny 2 damage output may be tied to frame rate. This is crazy, dude. I hadn't seen this yet. Fair. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Pretty wild. Destiny 2 players confirm that there's a statistically significant difference between enemies' damage output at 30 and 60 frames per second. That's crazy, dude. After plenty of hubbub around the issue of whether at least some of Destiny 2's damage source depended heavily on the client's frame rate, in-depth testing has confirmed that there may be a serious problem after all. It's no secret that the engine Bungie uses for Destiny is having a bit of a hard time keeping up with modern development, as that was cited as one of the reasons for the previous year's content sunsetting. But there are other more pervasive issues present as well. The discussion surrounding the purported... This is an article from a month ago, by the way, okay? The discussions surrounding the purported Destiny 2 Lightfall damage bug have been a hot topic for some time now. Information on whether something was amiss or not was fairly scarce, and Bungie didn't comment on the matter. Now, however, the community has come up with some hard data that confirms what some may have been claiming all along. The higher the frame rate, the more damage a player takes. Gross. Reddit user Ericus has taken it upon themselves to test whether some of Destiny's prominent damage sources deal more damage at a higher frame rate. For brevity's sake, they limited their testing to two major Cabal enemies, the Thresher VTOL and the Scorpius turret. Ericus's findings are very comprehensive, if not entirely surprising to PC players, as it would appear that both of the aforementioned foes dish out 130% more damage at 60 frames than they do at 30 frames. They're limited testing to the PS4 and PS5 versions of Destiny 2 to be able to deliver fast results, but they warned that it can be extrapolated that running the game at 120 frames could mean up to a 190% damage increase compared to capping it at 30 frames. While these results are statistically significant, as they put it, they do warn that more data collection would be in order, specifically on the PC side of things, with the long-awaited Destiny 2 Lightfall raid race slated to run until March 12th, which was a month ago. However, it is important that these preliminary findings be shared, as they may end up proving valuable when the going gets tough. The new Root of Nightmares raid is mostly a total unknown. Entirely possible that the Cabal make an appearance in some of its stages, featuring the affected Thresher and Scorpius implements. Yeah. It remains to be seen whether the studio will be able to resolve the problems caused by tying the enemy's damage output to frames per second. However, it may well be a core engine quirk. Oh, Ferret, do you know if they ever addressed this? No flipping way, dude. Incoming damage from some sources is based on your FPS count. The higher the FPS count, the more damage you take. The reason that Threshers can kill you so easily is because their damage is tied to your frame rate, a long-standing issue. Bungie has been aware of for quite some time now. The issue has plagued other now fixed sources of damage like Cabal slugs and Shrieker projectiles, but remains on others like Taken Fire. But alas, Bungie has listened, and a tweet issued late Wednesday evening, UK time, the developer noted that in an update due to drop on March 23rd, Threshers will no longer be quite as lethal. Yo, what's up, Cappy? Well, that wouldn't be surprising, Ferret, seeing as this was the issue as well. We know those Threshers were a little spicy, but you can do whatever you set your mind to, including not dying to Threshers with tomorrow's hotfix, says the tweet. Don't let those dreams be dreams. The text taken from the changelog and captured in the tweet reads, fixed an issue where Cabal Threshers were doing more damage than intended. It remains to be seen what else is included in the changelog, but I'm pleased to see this issue is taking priority. Here's the issue, though. It doesn't seem like they're fixing the frame issue. It doesn't seem like they're fixing the frame rate issue, though. Right? This is an underlying issue with the engine the game's built on and the way the game's coded. So what they're doing is they're nerfing the enemies to keep them from scaling. So you're still going to be better off playing this game at 30 frames. Oh, Cappy, what kind of bread? So they're not able to like just fix the underlying issue in the game, right? That's not what this sounds like. This sounds like what they're doing to try and fix things. They're band-aiding this. They're putting a band-aid on this by taking each individual enemy and addressing what they can do to nerf their damage. The enemies that were scaling with FPS damage and nerfing them to where it doesn't appear to be too bad. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way this sounds. I'm not positive, but that's the way this comes off. Which is concerning. And if that's the case, ultimately, as much as it sucks to play a game like this at 30 frames, you're going to be safer all the way around playing at 30 frames, damage-wise. If that is, in fact, the case. That's wild, dude. I had no idea. That's weird, dude. Weird. Yeah, fix it, huh? Interesting. Okay. Weird. Those are some weird plays by Bungie, dude. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Just some regular bread. Okay, word. Dude, I love homemade bread. So good, Cappy. It's good to see you. Happy Thursday, my friend. So we have the State of Play event happening today, baby. State of Play for PlayStation is happening today at 4 o'clock my time. 4 o'clock my time, that's 5 o'clock Eastern. That'll be 2 o'clock Pacific, okay? Or 3 o'clock Mountain. So we're gonna get into some Divinity with our buddy Pinky once he gets home. If he's not home yet, then we'll just do a little bit of Warframe until he gets home, and then home from work, and then we'll play some Divinity Day 18, and we'll get a good amount of. It'll be a long stream day. So at 4 o'clock p.m. or 1600 hours, we will my time CST. We will get into the State of Play, and that's how we'll end the stream today. State of Play is supposed to just be showing off some more Final Fantasy 16 gameplay mainly. So, but it's cool, man. We'll check it out together. That's how we'll end the stream today. Cool. That's what I got for the news, though. You guys rock. Big shout out, dude, to Ferret and Tinwin, man, for all the assists with bringing some nice news articles and topics to my attention and giving us some good content to be aware of and talk about and stuff. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. That's the jam, though, man. That's the news for today, April 13th. We're gonna move on, do a little bit of Warframe probably, and then dive into Divinity Day 18 when Pinky gets home. So, thanks to all of you for being the amazing people you are and for being a part of this. If anybody is checking out this video gaming news segment, and you're enjoying the content, then I would prompt you to maybe check out some of the other stuff we have out there on the YouTube channel. All kinds of other video gaming news segments, clips from the funny stuff that's happened to the channel, or just entire playthroughs that are sectioned out by episode. You know, we've got those. All that stuff's out on the YouTube channel and the Twitch channel. And if you're enjoying the content, then come hang out with us when we go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day. We always start out with video gaming news before we dive into whatever video gaming content we have planned for the rest of the day, okay? Other than that, you guys just stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will catch everybody tomorrow for our next video gaming news segment, which will be for April 14th, all right?